Hello everybody and welcome back to artofdino.com and saveearth.us, and I have an interesting one today from an article of October 3rd, 1851 from the American Telegraph of Washington, D.C., the dump. And it's about the Smithsonian Institute. And I may have shown this in an old video, but I don't think I read this part of the article and this part of the fact, which kind of basically states where the Smithson's intentions might come from. And so I was kind of curious. I read this article and it got me thinking that, this guy is a British traitor, not a very good person that you want in charge of American history, and you want to give all of your ancient, magical, unknown artifacts to for deciphering the truth. This is possibly the worst guy you could have ever given that to, America. And so I want to read this article and then talk about it a little bit real quick, because this guy has English blood big time from a lot of the most ancient families, and even, you'll see, well, I'll save one of the main parts for later, but when you come from a family like this, it's pretty easy to keep it going and have a desire to keep it going. So never trust these people, and the Smithsonian is a disgrace to history. So we all know that someday someone will leak or hopefully raid that place and unleash a torrent of information that has been hidden for generations. So here we go. Smithsonian Institute. Many of our readers may not know of the origin of the Smithsonian Institute at Washington. We will tell them. James Smithson, the founder, was the natural son of the Duke of Northumberland. His mother was a Mrs. Macy of his ancient family of Wiltshire, of the name of Hungerford. He was educated at Oxford, where he took an honorary degree in 1786. He took the name of James Lewis Macy until a few years after he had left the university, when he changed it to Smithson. He does not appear to have had any fixed home, living in lodgings when in London, and occasionally a year or two at a time in the cities on the continent as Paris, Berlin, Florence, and Genoa, at which place he died. The ample provision made for him by the Duke of Northumberland, with retired and simple habits, enabled him to accumulate the large fortune of $600,000, which he by will bestowed upon the government of the United States to establish a college or institute, quote, for the increase and diffusion of knowledge among men. I mean among the men that you want and not anyone else. But we'll leave that out. So here we go. The testator, James Smithson, a subject of Great Britain, declares himself in the caption of the will a descendant in blood from the Percys and Seymours, which I'll show some of those Wikipedia pages of above. Two of the most illustrious historical names of the British Islands. Nearly 2 centuries since, in 1660, the ancestor of his own name, Hugh Smithson, immediately after the restoration of the royal family of the Stuarts, received from Charles II, as a reward for his eminent services to that house during the civil wars, the dignity of Baronet of England, a dignity still held by the Dukes of Northumberland as descendants from the same Hugh Smithson. The father of the testator, by his marriage with the Lady Elizabeth Seymour, who was descended by a female line from the ancient Percys, and by the subsequent creation of George III in 1776, became the first Duke of Northumberland. His son and successor, the brother of the testator, known in the history of our Revolutionary War by the name of Lord Percy, was present as a British officer at the sanguinary opening scene of the Revolutionary War at Lexington and at the Battle of Bunker's Hill. Keep that in mind, because that is big. This guy was at the start of the revolution, a descendant of this guy who he's very proud of and lists in his will. James Smithson had relatives that basically started the Revolutionary War for the first shots at Lexington and at Bunker's Hill in our great Boston, and was the bearer to the British government of the dispatches from the Commander-in-Chief of the Royal Forces, announcing the event of that memorable day. And the present Duke of Northumberland, the testator's nephew, was the Ambassador Extraordinary of Great Britain, sent to assist at the coronation of the late King of France, Charles X, a few months only before the date date of this bequest from his relative to the United States of America. So here we go, right here. This is where the guy says it right on the dot. Is it not rather a strange coincidence that from a near relative of the man who first drew the sword against the liberties of this country should proceed the means of perpetuating and consolidating those liberties by the diffusion of education, that main pillar and foundation of republican institutions? Think about that. Think about the incentive that this guy had to destroy all of American history. He came after the Revolutionary War and decided to start this thing in the mid-1800s, mid to late 1800s, and by then he probably still had a grudge. Even though he was given castles and all this other stuff to do his thing, he was most likely had the same intentions that his ancestors had. He kept them going. What better way to take down America and hurt this country and never let it grow than to conquer its history and rob it of its history, pillage its history, twist its history, destroy its history, and that way you can remain constantly in control of these people. And when the people were convinced that this was, for education, for the things, they always say that, oh, this is for blah blah blah, for it's going to be great, blah, blah, while they do the dirty stuff behind their back. And so everyone would think that, oh, this would be great, they're going to do these things, so let's donate these materials to them, these artifacts to them, and then boom, these guys were either hiding them, destroying them, or putting them in the hands of other people, sending them to other places so that history can be known but kept on the DL, so that nobody else, none of us, have a clue at the amazing wonders and treasures of the past of America and beyond. And again, they knew that destroying a country's history completely destroys the will and can have basically weaken future populations. So why would the descendant of the person, basically the people who were ferociously starting the Revolutionary War and ferociously trying to crush the liberties of the United States, why would they ever change and want to do extreme good? Why could no one could ever trust these people? Because they are not trustworthy, and they come from the people, the Brits, who have waged war everywhere in the entire world. So again, why would we think that this person, the Smithson, would do anything different in America? They wouldn't. So here we go. The true intentions behind the Smithsonian, and they stink. So I hope you all enjoyed this. Add to it in the comments below. Share anything you can. Share this with everyone or anyone or no one. Who cares? Whatever. I'll talk to you all later. Thank you from artofdino.com and saveearth.us.